Right, well, morning all. This is my Triumph Speed Twin 900. It's a nice bike. I personally prefer the looks of this bike to the more traditional T100. And if you watch the reviewers, they all rave about it, which is on one hand unsurprising because it is a good bike, there's no two ways about that. But on the other hand, if they don't rave about they're obviously not going to get another bike from the manufacturer. So this bike isn't without its faults. For me, the seat height is far too low. I think if you're 28 inch in the leg, yeah, maybe, but I'm sort of 31 and I find the bike uncomfortable, and I find the distance between the seat and this peg to be too short, which also makes it uncomfortable. I don't like the scalloping in the seat because you can't really sit back on it because it pushes you forward, which I find to be a problem. The mirrors, I've already taken them off, but the mirrors have quite a short arm on them, and when they've got this short arm on them, you can't see past your shoulders and you're forever doing that to see what's behind you, so that's not great. And the handlebars were too low, and I've put a set of bar risers on, which hopefully I'll put a picture in for. So today we're going to do a bit of an unboxing because I've ordered a new set of bar end mirrors and a new set of foot pegs from a company called Tech. Tech appear to be, if you look at these things, but for me, Tech appeared to be a premium brand. Everything's EU approved, not the cheapest out there by a long shot, but I'm interested in what I'm going to get in the box, how it fits on the bike, and what differences it makes to the bike, and it might even be some use to somebody. So let's crack on and be a real YouTuber and open a box. Good show. I think one of the first things to note is there's no branding on this box. This is how it came on the DPD van. Not surprising really, because ultimately there's a lot of value in these packages. I think there's 162 quid here, so you don't need the exterior of the box to be branded up. Got a nice Tech bike parts catalogue with it. Some nice reading there. Might leave that near Santa. Got an invoice. Super. And this is a price list for Triumph twin engined air-cooled models for a load of parts you could fit. Air-cooled models years 2000 to 2016, not actually for my bike. My bike's a 2016 onwards, it's liquid cooled, but even so it's nice to have, isn't it? So first and foremost, the pegs, one pair of pegs in the back. I wasn't over keen on fitting these because really I wanted to stick with the originals, but that isn't an option because of what I want to do. But these are adjustable, so we'll have a look at how they go on, because I don't think the Tech website really accurately describes how they do fit. These are the extension pieces for the pegs. So it's a foot ped linker, 40mm. And it is a true 40mm as well. Look, centre to centre there. From that centre of that hole is 40mm. So it's not 40mm overall, because overall they're close to 65mm. But again, I refer you to my earlier comment about it being a premium product. It's nicely shrunk wrapped, nicely fitted in. Quite pleased with what I'm seeing so far. We'll come back to them. So these are the alley mirrors. in black. Again, tech box. Looks like it's been opened before, if I'm really honest. In a nice foam inlay. These are the fitting kits. These go in the end of the bar. Even comes with an Allen key. It's like being at IKEA, isn't it? Super. I went for the most expensive fully adjustable model. So this piece clearly goes on the end of the handlebar. You've got a nut there, or sorry, no, you've got a bolt there to tension it onto the end of the bar. You've got a bolt here which allows that to and fro motion. So you can do that motion and that motion. With a lot of these you can only do that motion, and I wanted the option to do that, and obviously, you know, you've got some swivel. I'm assuming you've got some swivel. Yeah, you have. You've got some swivel on that. That's lovely. Also, it's got the EU approval mark on it, which will be handy for MOT time and what have you. Not branded up as tech though, but either way, very nice. Right, so we're going to remove this right hand foot peg first. Brake pedal doesn't need to go anywhere. Slightly easier to do than the left hand side of the bike, simply because you should be able to get this pin out without having to remove the assembly off the bike. And when I say the assembly, I mean the bracket that retains the peg, the bracket and the brake lever, because this has got clearance on the chain cover. That's quite easy. And then we've got that spring arrangement in there. Very, very simple spring arrangement. There's a hole there that it goes into. Really quite a simple task, that. So I've got my extension pieces, and logic would dictate that you'd fit them first, but you can't. You've got to fit the peg first and then strip the peg by the look of it. Yeah, I have to say it does feel nice, the peg. And I've got some grease on the pin. Now I'm just greasing up the pivot point. So all I've got to do is get the peg in. Logically, you want these cutouts to the top, because if you think about it, it does that. But you also need the spring in there so that it flicks down, and that's where it gets tricky. Spring fits in there like that. Pin rolls away like that. Has to be said, it's a bit fiddlier than I thought it was going to be. And that's that. Slightly fiddlier than I would have liked, to be honest, that. Right, so the peg's in place, it's flicking back nice and everything, it feels nice, and we've actually got two places to adjust the peg. So first we can slacken this off here, and that peg will go in any location. And in a way I may have actually spent money on these that I don't need to spend, but anyway, we've got them now and we're going to fit them. And then of course you've got this section here. So if I'd just gone for that, I'm quite curious to find out what that gives me. So that on its own puts me to 500mm or 19.5 inches just by dropping that. So I'll swap it over and we'll see what the extension piece gives us. So that's the difference in size in the two of them. I'm obviously going to Loctite these once I'm happy with the position. Yeah, and that gives us, in that position, we've got 20.5 inches from the seat. So I think that will make the bike a lot more rideable, and it's slightly further back as well. So I'll leave that at that, and then we'll crack on with the other side. Right, well, more of the same really. We're going to pull that E-retainer off. That's that out of the way. That pin's got to come out. We're going to have to really watch the spring this time. Now it's got a hole there where that pin goes. The spring goes in that hole. It sort of sits there in there. Pin goes that way. So that fella goes that way. And then we go straight in. Okay, E-retainer on. Lovely. That fits on the bike like that. So we'll get this swapped over next. Right, I'm going to slot that back on. Right, now I've got this back in place, you can see here's my pin, and it would not clear this clutch cover casing. So that's why I was sort of forced to undo it on these bolts here. I will be coming back to these obviously and tightening everything up properly. But at the moment, I just want to try and for size. I might not even keep them on, I might not like them. So I think that's how the other side is set, on that position. And about like that. Well, as you can see, Kev from DPD has come through for us with the second package. I think this is either going to fit straight away, or we'll have a fair bit of modification to get it to fit, because it's actually for a T120 this, not a street twin. So let's get it home and see what we think. Right, I got this from a breaker, KWFM in Bristol. So nicely packed. This is a T120 seat, slightly straighter and taller than the existing seat, and that's as new condition. So I'm really pleased with that. It's a genuine part as well. It's got the Triumph logo across the back. Looks absolutely super, and all this arrangement looks more or less the same as the Street Twin. So this is the original seat off the Street Twin. And I find it uncomfortable because it's got this rather deep scallop out of the seat, and it somehow pushes you forward, and I find it's pushing me too close to the bars. So I don't know if you can really see that, but it's got that. The T120 seat is flatter. This area is slightly bigger, it's a bit taller. On the pegs this is about 30 inches. I'm hoping this is going to be a bit more. I've compared the fasteners. There's a pin here, a piece to slide under there, and these hooks here, and everything looks about right. So I'm going to try it on the bike and we'll have a look. Right, well, as you can see, that's gone on the bike quite nice. That I actually think it looks quite a bit better. Got a little bit of messing about to do at the back to get it to seat properly, but overall that's really nice. Right, I've got the T120 seat fitted now, and it fits this bike an absolute treat. I have looked online, not the first person to do this conversion, but most people appear to be making alterations to the seat to drop it down, and that's counterproductive to what I want to do. I want to raise the seat so that I got a little bit more leg room and made it look a bit more, I don't know, a bit bigger, I suppose. So the seat comes off quite easily. It slips in just like the Street Twin seat, and then it fits on. It's absolutely perfect, but I'll bring you in closer just to have a look at how I've done my version of it. So this is obviously the original catch. I've raised it up on this rubber block, and if you think that rubber block looks like two lumps of conveyor belt that have been glued together, well, you'll not be far out. I did order these Torx bolts because you need a countersunk head to fit them on the under the seat, and the originals were Torx heads, so it was quite nice to fit ones that looked original. This cable outer is probably a little bit tighter than I'd like, and I may revisit that later on and maybe alter that bracket, but it's not hurting anything. It's all, it doesn't move, it's all there. And then I had to make these two blocks at the side to fit the seat rubbers on, and again, all I've done there, I've got some composite board, I've glued them together, I've drilled a hole, I've put a Torx bolt in both of them, an M8 Torx bolt in both of them, and then I've put some inner tube underneath to give it some grip, and it fits absolutely perfectly. On the seat, the only alteration you need to make is to take these off the Street Twin seat and bolt them onto this seat, and they fit perfectly straight away. And then you'll also notice I've had to put a razor block in them to raise them up so that they will fit into the hooks on the bike. I realise you're not going to be able to see all of me when I sit on the bike, but I just want to demonstrate it. So height wise now, my legs are a lot straighter out. If you watch some of the guys who reviewed this, like Freddie Dobbs and what have you, the legs are out forward. I can't reach my legs out forward to where Freddie would have had his legs. So on the deck, got a little bit of bend in my legs, but it's not too tall. It's just about right. The handlebars feel great. So I've put my feet on the pegs now. The combination of the bar risers, the Tech 40mm lowering kit and new pegs, and the T120 seat, it just feels so comfortable. It really does. So all I've got to do now is pop my mirrors on, and yeah, I think so far really worthwhile project. Well, we really are on the final bit now. I've got all the mirrors out of the box, ready to put on the bike. My kit from Tech has a slight feel of it being a kit that may have been out to a customer and then been returned. For some reason it's got the adapters already pushed into the handlebar end, which seems a bit odd because they're tight, and pushing them in and out is actually going to scratch them. So I can't see them doing that at Tech, could be wrong. Plus the kit should have these adapter rings in it, and it came without. Now that said, I made contact with Tech, and within 3 days I'd got the adapter rings. So overall it's all good. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong at all. It's still a quality product. and you know, I've got everything I need to fit them. These mirrors aren't handed, you can adjust them either side, so all we've got to do is take off this bar weight, I suppose. It's not really a bar weight, but that's what it does. We'll take off the bar weight and then see if we can slip them on. Remember to use a decent screwdriver for this. You don't want to be mauling up the end of the screw head. So the handlebar tube size, according to these calipers, is 22mm.07. The thickest adapter ring has an ID of 21.5, give or take, so that fits on there quite snugly. So when you come to fit these, don't push the collar up straight away to the throttle. Slide your mirror on, slide your bush on, but leave a gap. So when you come to fit the cap, it's got a blue dot of Loctite on it, and if you push it in, you're not going to need to mince this up too much. That bottoms out there, which gives you that clearance on your throttle. You've not gone too far. I'm just going to set this rough for the minute, and whilst I am using my T keys, the actual kit comes with a couple of Allen keys as well. So I'm just going to quick sit on the bike. Oh yeah. Oh, that's better even in the garage. There's no interference. I'll get the other side done, then we'll push it outside and look at what we've done. Well, there we have it. The changes we've made, especially the bar end mirrors, have really transformed the bike. I really like the pegs, the bar risers, they're great. The seat, the T120 seat, massive improvement. I still think this bike looks better than the T100. And it performs well enough for what I want, especially after having my back injury with the ZZR. So overall, especially the tech stuff, I can't recommend it enough. It feels quality. I'd also recommend going for the mirrors that fold out a little bit, the bar end mirrors that fold out, because that's really useful. I've done probably 400 miles on this since I've made the changes. Doesn't corner quite as well as it did do. Took it to Tamworth yesterday, which is about 60 miles away. Took it to work, commuted to work on it.
So did roughly, you know, 120, 130 mile on it yesterday, and dead comfy. So well worth it, well worth the effort. Anyway, I'm going to head back to town and get back on with some Fodens really. We've done enough on motorbikes, haven't we? Alright, I'll see you on the next one.